got on that one app, got ghosted.
Welcome to another episode of Cousin Confidential.
In today's episode, we are gonna finish telling you the story of how we met. On Grindr, he ghosted me, even though he tried to tell you a different story. We ended up getting married, but this is what happened after all of that.
Back pain.
Okay, so we just had someone turn 29, what was it, a couple days ago? And this is him with back and knee pain. And the balloons are still up on the wall, by the way. So I hope you don't mind, but today, while we tell you this story, I'm gonna be giving this old head one of his birthday gifts, live here right on camera. Okay, so my husband ghosted me when we first met.
That's not true. I was in the hospital.
It is true. Turns out, he was actually in the hospital.
When he says I ghosted him, I was in the hospital because a brown recluse beat me. Is that how you say it? Beat me or bite me?
Because a brown recluse bit him?
It
Welcome to the second part of the How We Met story. In part one, we told you all about how I met my husband on Grindr, how he ghosted me, and then ended up being together for the next 9 years. 4 of those years being married. In this video, we're going to tell you everything that's happened since then and what life has looked like for us. Yeah, embarrassed him, man. Oh, and while he was in the hospital, his favorite uncle died. Yeah, we're that couple. Welcome to another episode of Cousin Confidential, where I will be sharing all of my business, no filters. Are you awake?
Raise your yeah. Raise your yeah.
So annoying. Okay, so I definitely should have blocked him.
But instead you married me.
And is that something I'm gonna regret? Let's find out. Ow! What the fuck?
Why is this on here?
These two was trying to have a secret dinner, and
Thank God I woke up out of nowhere.
Iván fed them dinner. They were sneakily walking up to me, acting like they were hungry. So
They were
I
like,
thought that
"Hey,
they didn't
can you
eat.
feed us?
And then when Iván woke up and said, "Hey, they already ate," they got upset and left. Let's make chicken nuggets.
That was a lot.
Okay, so what are we about to do?
Yes, chicken nuggets.
What? I think we're gonna make chicken nuggets. Alright, so come with me, because Iván left you on the bathroom. You need to do your line.
Hey, what was it?
So here.
So here's what happened after all of that. I feel like I'm crossing.
Way too close.
And this is what happened after all of that.
Okay, so a quick recap if you're new here. We met on. I saw him first. I was like, I'm gonna let him see me. I went on his page and like viewed his page. So he says hey to me and I'm like, oh, I see you're from Europe. I had already done my research and I said, this boy's from Spain.
Yeah, you have something of Germany in your bio.
And I was like, oh yeah, I happen to have grown up in Europe too. That's crazy. It's just a small world. Small world.
It's crazy.
Okay, but this one liked chocolate, so it happened to work out.
I like everything that looks good.
And I like everything that looks good. Now let me ask you something. If you just met the love of your life, and I mean your life got changed, wouldn't you say, hey, I'm about to hit this hospital right quick. I'll be right back. You could at least say that.
In the hospital because a brown recluse beat me. So I was not on Grindr. What were you thinking?
I think it was only a couple of days or weeks that he was struggling with all of that going on, trying to become Spider-Man. We went on a date to Fuzzy's.
We got some queso, some frozen margarita.
I ended up staying the night, and we've been together since. So you guys already knew this story if you watched part 1, that we met on Grindr, that he did ghost me. Whatever story he needs to tell you, he ghosted me. We ended up getting married, but there were a couple of questions that were dropped on social media, YouTube, so we wanted to make a part 2 and answer them. So a lot of people were like, what were you thinking when you thought he ghosted you? I was just like, wow, I've never been ghosted before. I usually do the ghosting. So what is this about? My ego was like, man, that dude looks good, but I can never talk to you ever again in my life. And I was the last one that wrote you. And it was Grindr. It was just.
But didn't we have a conversation before?
That was the problem. That's the
So
problem.
we were talking and then I stopped responding?
Yeah.
Before I went to the hospital, I had a whole week leading to that point where I spent 3 days in bed with
Turning into Spider-Man.
literally with fever, sweats, I couldn't eat. It was horrible. So, and I was still going to class. I don't know how.
So you had the strength to get up and text me.
I was fighting for my life to keep a scholarship.
Okay, next question. So, did Iván ever think about responding before the hospital? Great question.
Yes, I did. I was in the hospital and we were talking before the hospital.
I'm gonna rewind and play some footage at this exact moment right here of what he's just said.
Before I went to the hospital, I had a whole week leading to the.
Okay, so now that you see what you just said,
I was not gonna say
if
that
you're-
to somebody
if you're-
on Grindr. How did you feel after you found out that I was not ghosting your purpose?
okay, so when I found out that you were in the hospital, I actually was like, damn, that's kind of crazy. That sucks. I did like him, so I was my feelings was hurt. But at first, I thought he was lying because I was like, okay, hospital. I'm gonna need to see some real. I don't believe that you're in the hospital. I was like, anybody could drive by the hospital and get a nice picture and say, I just got out of the hospital. Because I've done the same.
We actually designed an obituary for advertising.
For one of our advertising class, we designed what was her name?
It was grandma.
It was Aunt Betty.
Aunt Betty.
Aunt Betty. So we designed a fake obituary in college to get out of going to one of our classes, and it worked. We graduated, so I can talk about it.
We went to the funeral.
So I thought he was doing something like that. We did all this talking, and we haven't done anything else. The only meat that we eat is on each other. I'm gonna be honest.
And you were gonna say
So
that.
today we're gonna do Morningstar chicken nuggets, and this isn't sponsored, by the way, even though we're open to it if you're watching it.
Hey, Morningstar.
Hey, Morningstar. Hey. A little quick snack. Okay, so there was a lot that went down before we even got married. We met in college, right? We ended up after that first date. We lived in separate apartments. Every weekend we would move into each other's places, and I kid you not.
Oh my God,
But-
it's a whole thing.
So the craziest part of this was I had a dog and I worked as a server, and then I was taking like 18 credit hours in college, and I would sleep over his house. And
I was
honestly,
a student athlete.
honestly, we've had a very high sexual attraction to each other. So we were on each other like white on rice. So when I say
What?
white on rice, like white on rice, you never heard that? Really? Like white is all over rice. The reason I'm telling you this is when we first got together, it was kind of like a distraction. He was an athlete, and I was taking a lot of credit hours. I was working. I had a dog. He didn't even believe me that I had a dog because every time I stayed at his house, my roommates would take the dog out and stuff. So he was like, "You don't have no dog."
I didn't believe it.
If you had a,
you didn't taking care of no dog.
we ended up hanging out every weekend. We'd move into each other's places. Every weekend ended up turning into every day. I started driving him to class because he was riding a bike to class. So fast forward that, he goes home during the summer back to Spain for like 3 months. This is my first time ever getting depressed. This is my first time being in love. The first month and a half when he first left, so I got depressed. So I decided to hit the gym. I was going to the gym 2 times a day. I decided to go vegan at the same time. And I was hanging out with my friends, and we would go to the pool or we'd go on runs and stuff. So I got in really good shape while he went to Spain. So it was like a 7-hour difference. So he'd call me at like 2 a.m. when he's coming home with his friends. And I know a lot of people will be cheating on each other. When I tell you there was a toxic part of our relationship, that's
We were so in love with
way
each other.
later down the road. We were so in love with each other. Cheating
We didn't
wasn't
have to
even.
worry about that.
We didn't worry about that. So I guess that was the best part of our relationship, that we loved each other. We were committed to each other, and we actually missed each other. So he went to go hang out with his friends again. He went to shoot photography again. So he got to be Iván. I got to be John for a little bit, but we missed being John and Iván.
There's 7-hour difference.
So we talk every day on
And
FaceTime.
it didn't matter what time it was for him or for me.
A FaceTime call with someone that you miss is enough when you're in love. And I don't know what to tell you. If you don't have that feeling, then it's not your person. Go somewhere else.
Take it however, use your imagination.
Use your imagination. So you can use FaceTime in a lot of different ways.
So boom, John comes to Spain for the first time.
And I
Meets
think
my family.
since it was our first summer together, I think he said only come for like 10 days. When I came in the house, I remember meeting his mom for the first time. And I grew up in a house where we don't really hug a lot or say I love you a lot. So this was
petrified.
This was weird for me. His mom gave me the biggest hug ever, and I was just like, okay, this is awkward. So we spent the next 10 days. I think we went to Barcelona. Didn't we go to Barcelona? We went to Barcelona. Lloret del Mar. He wanted to kill me because I booked a 5 a.m. excursion on a bus because I saw this is where they filmed Game of Thrones. So I told him, hey, we have a bus ride to Lloret del Mar, and I'll drop a picture of it so you can see it while we're talking about it.
It was an Expedia excursion.
But it was an Expedia excursion, by the way, not sponsored either, but if you want to look into it, going to Lloret del Mar, it's really nice to have castle. It's beaches. I think if we went again, we would actually bring beach stuff. Went back to Madrid after that, hung out with his family.
Familia, dice familia.
He showed me around downtown Madrid. Like if somebody came to visit you in America, you would show them your order at Whataburger or your order at In-N-Out. I think the coolest part of going to Spain with somebody that actually lives in Spain is you get the authentic food. This is called arroz a banda. You get the cheat codes for lime. Okay guys, today we are going to Parque de Atracciones, which is the park of attractions, just an amusement park. Ready?
So if you come to Spain, go to McDonald's, get your deluxe fries with the deluxe sauce.
So he went crazy all summer showing me his favorite French fries at different places, favorite pizzas, because a fun fact, the best pizza is in Spain, it's not in Italy. Today we're gonna be trying one of the best pizzas in the world. And wait till I tell you, it's not even in Italy or New York. It's in Spain, baby. Oh, this is the pizza. Neapolitan style. Light dough, fresh cheese. My mouth is watering, so I don't know if I sound crazy. We need to move fast because we're going just before closing. Pizza's doing what it's supposed to do. Now guys, we're coming to you live from Barcelona. And I got on my Barcelona shoes. Oh yeah. And if I can say, this is some of the best pizza I've ever had. And just to confirm it, I brought backup. I married someone from Spain, which also means I married his Spanish family. Bocata de calema. So, bienvenido. Is that how you say welcome?
Bienvenido.
Is how we like to say welcome here in Spain. And trust me, I'm a professional. We tried, I think, about 10 different pizza spots in 10 days. And I don't regret it. I gained a grip of weight. It was a vacation summer. So I was sad after this part because I did have to go home. And after the 10 days, you know when you book something, you're like, I'm only coming for 10 days because I don't know your family yet. We were all looking at each other like, damn, John, you should have stayed for much longer. Because at this point, little did you guys know, I had been in his ear all summer. And you know Europeans are real frugal. I was trying to convince him to move in as my roommate with two of my other friends. But the price difference between where he was staying, and I don't want to put you out there, when he moved to America, he moved into his place with one plate, one fork, one cup, one suitcase, all of that.
Picture of everything I
So he found the cheapest place to rent out, but as someone
It
moving,
also was like last minute that I had to find that place before I moved.
someone moving to America last minute and on a last minute budget, they didn't want to spend a lot of money. And then I'm telling him, I'm a Leo, he's an Aquarius. Telling him we're moving into this 4-story condo with townhouse. I'm sorry, it was a 4-story townhouse with 2 other roommates. He was like, oh no, that's gonna be too much money, too expensive, too much. And I was like, bro, the amount of money that we spend, it was only $150 a month more. But for a college student, that's millions of dollars. So if you're from Lubbock, Texas, I don't even know if it's still up, but this is the block. We were the very first people to live in the unit. We're unit 7. No, I'm sorry. We're unit
727.
So we moved into that place together. We ended up renewing the lease, keep renewing it. We had parties there. We had therapy sessions there. We had our first arguments there.
We watched Insecure season.
We watched Insecure.
7, no?
We were best friends with the 2 girls that were downstairs. All 4 of the guys, we were like big brothers to the 2 girls downstairs. We were cool with the guys next door. At first, it was a little bit of smoke. First, we were, you know how dudes are. We had to figure out, is this dude cool? We would bang on the wall and stuff.
Yeah,
but
we were loud.
Get with the ghetto shit, bitch!
We were loud, they were loud. You know how in college you can be loud, but if y'all loud, it's a problem.
Okay, so let's move on.
Let's fast forward a little bit.
So,
I think this is the part where you're gonna get sad.
John graduated college.
So I
he graduated before me.
And I wanted to move to Austin, Texas,
So he put his cap and gown on and said, see you guys, and took off.
It was sad. You remember? I remember driving off and looking back. It felt like a movie. And him and Diesel.
His truck was so overloaded in the back. It looked so comical.
Thankfully, I had an aunt that lived in Round Rock, which is like 45 minutes outside of Austin. So I went to crash on their couch for a couple of months. I get there. I go to work literally the next day because I waited till the last minute. Back to FaceTiming again. So a lot of our relationship at the beginning, the test was, do we like each other enough during these transitional periods to go to be with someone who lives in a different time zone, whose phone is in a different area code, whose parents speak another language. So do we love each other enough to stay committed to each other while another person is going out into the world and starting their life, and while the other one is finishing up a chapter of their life?
Yeah.
And that was a hard place for me because I needed to focus on becoming John, and he missed me being John and Iván.
But I needed to graduate too.
And he needed to graduate too. So it was a good thing because, like I said, you had all the labs.
And I also was terrified of graduating because after that I didn't know how I was going to be able to stay in the country if I wanted to be with him.
Because remember, at this time, he came to America as an athlete. Being a student athlete is 2 jobs at once. They got him to throw the javelin. Like, I'm complaining about college, but he had college and going to practice and going to compete. If you've been a college athlete before, go ahead and drop in the comments and tell us what sports you play. Okay, so we fast forward 6 more months. They passed by. There was in those 6 months, there was one really sad moment. And if I could go back, I would do this differently. There was one weekend or weekday, Iván was having an art gallery. And I think he thought that I was going to be able to come up and I was going to surprise him. But genuinely, I had to work so much, I couldn't come up with this. So this was the first time we had gone from never missing each other's big moments to having to see it over FaceTime, or have to see each other's joy not be 100% because we missed each other. So
It was my first art gallery.
it was his first art gallery as an artist in America, and it was big. People, they cleared a space for him in a art museum.
Hi guys, my name is Iván and this is my first photo exhibition, so check it out.
People were coming to see him be himself, and I wasn't able to see that. So that's one thing that I missed. So after all of that happened, he ended up graduating. Thank God I could get off for that because I wasn't gonna miss his graduation. But growing up, you realize friends start to change. Sometimes you have friends that are for parties. Sometimes you have friends that are actually gonna be there if you're having a bad day. If we
friends that are sneaky and want to get in between.
Or friends that are sneaky or want to get in between, because we had those too. We're 2 good-looking dudes, and I'm not even being on cocky shit. We had friends that wanted to fuck him, or friends that wanted to fuck me, or some friends that we let fuck the both of us. We really gonna be honest here. Hey, if you're watching the video. Fast forward a little bit, college was a lot of fun, but this is the part where we have to grow up. So he moves to Austin. I continued working for a couple of months, but like I told you guys, I spilled the tea a little bit. I ended up quitting the first job I ever had out of college and using my degree with, and I never got a job since. And he spent his first 6 months after college applying to jobs, and he went on one interview. Went on one interview, and he said he tanked the interview. Got nervous. You want to talk about it?
My Spanish accent was kicking in. I couldn't understand what they were asking me. I was like, I don't know. Right now, if I would have done that interview right now, I would have killed it. So it was really bad.
A lot of people don't know it, but we have 6 businesses between the 2 of us. So we have a creative studio that we share. It's called Bravo Agency.
1, 2, 3, 4.
And that was the first business we ever started. But after I quit my job and I hated my job, Iván had been to this place and he saw how miserable I was. I had 300 clients that I had to post for every day. I think there was one day my boss told me, "You're working too hard and you're being too creative." I didn't go to school to get a degree and not be creative and do the thing I wanted to do. He told me if I did C+ work, I would get more of it done and be faster. You're doing too good of a job.
Yeah, we're done.
Full transparency, I don't think we ever told our families this, but there were points of us breaking up. We did see other people. You want to tell it or you want me to tell it?
You tell it.
Well, there were other people that thought that we were going to be there together forever, but we still live together.
Isa and Lauren.
We still live together, so I'm not gonna. It was probably the best sex of our lives.
It was toxic.
Because it was toxic. So I came home smelling like somebody else, and then he'd come home smelling like somebody else. So we would be on each other and have to reclaim the territory. So without getting too much into that story, that was when we were the most toxic version of ourselves. Between starting our businesses and arguing with each other,
We were young too.
and breaking up to seeing other people, we didn't handle our problems the correct way. So I know this is gonna sound crazy, but nothing makes you want to marry someone more than being with other people and realizing that nobody else out in the world, everybody else is nasty. I was dating somebody that when we wanted to smoke together in his room, and then he'd blow the ashes on the carpet. And I don't want to make this sound bad, but this guy tried to play me. He was talking to his ex the entire time. And
You knew.
I knew because I was also talking to my ex, so I couldn't get mad. I lived with my ex. So I was telling him one story, and I came into his room one day, and there was cum stains on the bed already. And I said, I didn't come there. So I know you're thinking, this story got a little bit of toxic. But what did you expect with two people that met on Grindr? Iván was dating somebody that didn't even want to kiss him on the first date.
You didn't want to kiss me on that.
Well, I kissed you on the first date. We did a whole lot more than kissing on the first date.
Yes.
And I was changing your bandage on your leg on your first date. We fell in love with each other. So
We did.
let's be real.
And to be honest, every relationship is toxic.
Every relationship has phases where you can get toxic. Every relationship has phases where you gotta set boundaries. Can you stop? I don't think it's the perfect time to be shaking chicken nuggets. Point proven. So every relationship has points where you have to learn how to communicate with each other. There's points where you're gonna get on each other's nerves. I'm gonna be honest, every single person I've met in my life, family included, I have gotten on their nerves. I know how to get under people's skin in a special way to where you would want to fight me. Am I joking?
No.
I'm pretty sure my dogs will want to put paws on me.
Professional.
Complete professional. But I grew up just knowing that it takes special people to be around me because I'm a big personality, I'm a big character. And Iván, he sometimes goes into his shell and he avoids things and he shuts down. And that annoys me. And sometimes me being too loud or clapping or playing Megan Thee Stallion at 100% annoys him. So we learn things not to do around each other.
Megan doesn't annoy me.
Megan doesn't annoy him is the loud volume. This is a Megan Thee Stallion household. So it was during COVID that we got married, and we never had a physical ceremony. This is something that we're still planning. I want to get married in Italy and have an actual ceremony. Maybe this is something we can make happen in the next couple years.
You want to get married in Italy?
In Italy, we've talked about this so many times. But when I tell you, it was just like this. Our wedding. Do you want to tell them about it? It was a FaceTime wedding.
It was a FaceTime wedding. It literally was like.
Well, this is going to be the easiest part of your day. Yeah, I told you that this is the hard part for me, the easy part for y'all.
Oh, wow. Well, champagne is ready.
Yeah.
It's pretty
Yeah.
easy. Why? I don't know why I dyed my hair and my beard blonde. So this was a question that I did want to answer. This was left on Instagram. You guys asked us what is next for us as a couple and as business partners. We have our own warehouse for all of our businesses, so we're able to pack and ship orders together. That is one of my favorite things that we get to do together.
I love being independent as a business.
So like I told you, I thought I was going over there to fuck. And I thought he was coming over here to fuck.
9 years later.
We thought it was a hookup. It was, so 9 years later, we got married, we've started our family, we've started our businesses, and I don't regret a moment of it. We've broken up, we've seen other people, and like I told you, we went from happy to toxic back to happy. And hopefully we don't ever go back to toxic, but if that happens, the thing that I appreciate is
now we have different tools.
we have better tools, and I think whatever life throws at us, I'm grateful to have my best friend. We've been shot at before. We've gotten rich before, we've gotten broke before, we've gotten rich again before, but most importantly, we've done it together and we've gotten to see the different versions of each other show up.
I agree.
So for those of you that loved the first video, hopefully you like this video. We met on Grindr. He ghosted me. I don't care what story he told you, but we got married after that. If you guys have any similar stories, if you have any friends that you met on Grindr, if you have
any questions,
if you have any more questions for us, or if you have a story where you met someone special on Grindr,
comment below
and let us know. I'm John.
I'm Iván.
Thanks for watching another episode of Cousin Confidential.